Surprise! I bet you didn't think you would see me today. I didn't think I would see myself either, so don't think it's all you. But, I did talk about that on, what was that, Friday. We finally did the show that we were supposed to do on Wednesday, that I might find the energy and the time to do a pop-up today, and I definitely did do it. So what we're gonna talk about is a recurring topic, and that is how many women are saying that dating is just not really what they want to do anymore. And it's not like they're not pissed or anything. They just have kind of reached some kind of settlement, some kind of acceptance that what they're looking for is too frustrating to find. It's too much drama. They've been hurt too much. They get gamed on and lied to too much, or it requires the men that they meet, even if they are decent dudes, require too much time and energy that they just don't feel like they can devote. And not to mention all the other stuff that we'll talk about, and that has been addressed in the advice column. People, the violent streaks and the just weirdness, mental illness, and all kind of other things out there. So a lot of people are just deciding to check out from the dating pool, which leaves a very interesting dilemma. So since dating as we know it, like you go out and you spend time trying to get to know somebody, you quote, talk to them and do all this kind of stuff, is the de facto way to kind of get a relationship off the ground and get to know somebody. If people are dropping out of that, then what's happening? What could be the long-term ramifications of people, and it's not just women, but we're gonna be concentrating on women tonight because, I think socially, it's kind of a weird dynamic that society has never seen before, because always women have been programmed to think that like from girlhood, that we are gonna grow up and we're gonna have a boyfriend and we're gonna get married and we're gonna be a wife and we're gonna have children. I mean, it's like your life is directed for you without you really even thinking about it. And you start getting that programming at a very early age, and people start saying, "Ooh, you gonna be a killer when all the dudes gonna be after you when you get older," or "You such a cutie, you gonna be getting all kind of that kind of stuff." So they start putting that stuff in your head, into your head when you're 5 or 6 years old. You don't really know what it means yet, but they're already doing it. That's what I'm saying. So now you have women who have reached the age of majority where they can date and become involved in relationships and get married and have families and all of that. And they are like, "Oh, alhamdulillah, I'm deuces." They don't want anything to do with it. So we have to, I mean, not like this little discussion that we're gonna have is gonna solve all the world's problems and bring world peace and understanding to every relationship. That's not the purpose. The purpose of this discussion is just kind of bring all those issues to the fold and examine them at one time. Because in the advice column, we get to examine those things in bits and pieces. As a letter is presented, we talk about that one little thing. But I want to kind of look at society as a whole and women's new roles and what this means. What does this mean? Because if women ain't dating, that means they don't really want to get married either. So women are going to get married, and that means they don't want to get married. They don't want to have kids. Are we going to possibly end up like Japan? They don't. They're talking about they don't do something within the next 100 years or so. The country is going to basically die out. It just be a country of very few people, old people, because that's mostly what they have now. So it's a very interesting situation. Let me click over here to where you guys are, and so I can see the comments. Hey, I see a lot of people that show. Only scheduled the show like 2 hours ago, so this is very last minute. Those of you who shared it on your social media, thank you very much. To get people to know about it, because I don't know. I think I put it up on Facebook, and I kind of just like, whatever. So let's see. What did she say? It's because of the stupid red pill content. Women are tired of it. I have to agree that is something that I did think of that today. I'm sitting there washing my dishes, right? Because I'm gonna, girl, these holidays. I'll be so happy when this is over. But I had promised to make sweet potato pies for people, right? I haven't made sweet potato pies in years. So I started making my list of I have to make 20 sweet potato pies. So I started getting the canned milk and all the stuff. I went to Costco, got the butter. I mean, I got stuff that I need to stick in the freezer so I could get ready. But while I was washing the dishes anyway from this morning, I realized that I had this male friend that, if I were a single woman in a situation where I had to date him, I wouldn't date his behind. We were good friends and stuff. We used to work together, trainers. And he went to go get his master's degree. Like, he left the job. But, we stayed friends. We're still friends to this day. And that's been, let's see, I met him. Wow. Next year it'll be 20 years I've been knowing this guy, right? Okay, time flies so fast. Okay, so when he's getting his master's degree, he wanted me to look at his thesis. I write, and I'm very good with English language and stuff. Even though, in spite of my words I use on this channel, I'm actually an excellent writer and speaker. I will have you know. And so he wanted me to take a look at his thesis and give him some feedback. So he says, oh, he suggested this one evening. I said, well, he called and he wanted to be that day. I said, but well, I already cooked and everything. My daughter had some friends over, already cooked, and so I'm not really hungry. He said, oh, we can get something to eat. I said, well, I'm not really hungry. Well, he said, oh, come on, come on, come on. So he picks me up and we go down to Oakland. We go to Everett and Jones. Now, those of you who live in this area, I mean, the barbecue is okay. I mean, I'm not really a fan. So he orders this big old plate. I kind of nibbled on it while I was reading, his stuff. But I mean, I didn't really like eat. And so at the end, I'm reading the thing, we're talking about everything. The bill comes. This clown had the nerve to say to me, well, my half is this. Yeah, your half is buck. I must have looked at him with a quadruple take and said, who are you talking to? And he's like, to you? I said, no, I know you're not talking to me. You're not talking to me because A, I already told you, I already ate. B, I'm coming in using up my time over here to help you with your thesis. Nothing about this evening is about me. And C, even if this was a date and it was supposed to be, you think I'm gonna pay half? You out your rabbit ass mind. And that was the first time I've ever had to cuss at him, and probably the last. I don't think maybe one other time after that. But he quickly reached in his pocket and, well, no, yeah, you're right. And started apologizing and everything. And I'm thinking, boy, don't have me getting up over here and calling one of my other friends to come pick me up and be done with you forever. See, that's how I do things. And he knows that, having known me all the time. So, that could have been a thing where if we were on a date and he pulled that stunt, he would have got cussed out Oakland style, right there in Everett and Jones in Jack London Square. And so, I didn't mind. Yeah, he was out his mind. I said, boy, you out your rabbit ass mind. You must be crazy, thinking I'm gonna be doing you a fucking favor, and I have to pay you, drunk, high, stupid, crazy, all of the above. I don't know what you was thinking. Wait, I saw something up here. I'm gonna open the phone lines up in a little bit, so you guys, if you want to make a comment live, you can. I just ask that you watch your language. Y'all know what kind of stuff to say and not say at this point of the game, right? We've been doing this for years, and you know what to say and not say. So watch your language. Use our channel approved euphemisms. Okay, let's see what she says here. Yeah, look, cutie Tay, she got lost, but she came back. That won't be having kids. The way things are going, we may turn out like Japan. Yeah, I was thinking about that. You know, I feel like when I'm sitting there because I can look out the window, right? So I'm sitting as I'm watching the dish, I'm looking out the window, and that's my good thinking spot. Okay, and let's see what she says. This is a new name I don't recall ever seeing before, but welcome to the channel. Dating men is exhausting. They complain about paying for anything and use you reaching to your wallet as on a date as a test. Well, I would fail that test real big time. Oh God, look who's here. Oh my goodness, I'm about to pass out in shock. What's up, girl? Long time no see. I see DP is up in here too. See, it's like roll call. Yeah, he tried to do that 50-50. Boy, you crazy. Ah, but like I said, we're still friends. And guess what? All the other times that we've gone out ever since, he never says anything to me about paying. Ever. I don't care what it is. He always knows he's paying. That's his punishment. Even if we are just friends. And normally I would take turns or something like that. Cause it's just nice. But and I don't even do that now because he's on a punishment for the rest of his life. He has to pay. That's the way I feel. I'm not paying for shit because you try to pull a stunt and that's for the rest of your life. Plus, he makes more than me anyway. He's down there in LA making all kind of bank, sitting up there. I'll be like going from pillar to post with my little money. So anyway, let's get started talking about this stuff. Okay, so one of the things that has changed in society since I was, y'all's age and young and dating, is the internet. The internet really started with, got big with AOL, CompuServe and stuff in the 90s. AOL was, the major player. And so everybody was all excited, right? So AOL had like dating sites and chat rooms, and people could instant message, and it was like this whole big deal. And then they got where you could do, live cameras and switch pictures and stuff. They used to call it new media in the 90s because it was all this stuff was new, right? All this technology that enables you to do all this stuff was new. Some of the people listening to this show now were born after that happened. So to them, it's never been any different. But we all know when it started, right? We remember when things went from 8-track to cassette tapes, and from cassette tapes to CDs and DVDs and all of those kind of things, right? So, that's the difference. So now when people used to have personal ads in the newspaper, so you actually had to go and buy a newspaper or see one at a doctor or a cafe or something and look on the back and scroll down the list and see the people's ads and stuff. There was no pictures, no phone numbers. You had to communicate in written form through the newspaper because for security reasons, or some of them had like a chat feature or something. You would call it with some kind of code or something. I don't know. I never used it, but as I understand, it would like connect your line would be registered. You'd have to pay for this service though, and they would connect your call to the other person's call, and it would be kind of an anonymous thing. But again, that was all new technology at the time, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is so fabulous!" So now, advanced to 2022, 3, 4. And this stuff is like old news. We doing all kind of stuff now. So you don't have to use newspapers anymore. You don't have to go on websites anymore. Now they have it on your phone. So as you swiping around, right, you looking at these dating apps. This has become the predominant tool for singles to find love or hook up or whatever they're looking for. Anyway, that's the way that everybody be finding it. I, again, want everybody to understand, I don't know anything about these dating apps. I refuse to be bothered with them. I don't want to look at one. I'm not trying to touch it. I ain't trying to register with. I mean, I threatened to do that at one point. I was going to register just to see what kind of havoc I could wreak. But then I decided, maybe not, because they might ban me from the internet altogether, and that would just mess up my world. But yeah, because I already know the way that you all be talking about the way these dudes come at you, I would go completely left and it would be all bad. So I would be banned off the sites within minutes anyway. So what's the worth? Why even bother putting up together profiles? Just waste my time. So with that in mind, there are certain barriers to, just certain things happening on these dating apps and these internet dating things that, you just didn't have happen in the real world. So we're going to talk about some of those and how these things are dangerous for women. I found, of course, I have to go out and do my little research. And so, what are the risks here? This is an article. I don't know where this. Oh, this came from Crime Stoppers. What are the risks to women of internet dating? And it says that online dating has become a serious problem with people exposing themselves to the risks of fraud scams, stalking, and abuses of a physical nature. Now they identified as just sexual. I'm not going to say just that because the types of stuff it far exceeds that. I remember specifically a letter about a young woman in the UK. The guy was walking her back to the train station. And there was an area where you entered the train tunnel or something, and it was dark. The way she described it, they went down these stairs and there was no one around and stuff. And the guy, this was her internet date, got her up against the wall and started choking her. Somebody happened to come by and, he stopped. But I'm sure it would have led to something, eggplant planted, but you know what I'm trying to say. But it got stopped, and she was totally unprepared and very shocked and stuff. So you hear about women getting their property stolen, carjacked, jewelry taken, money taken, all kind of stuff happening. That is an abuse and a criminal act that doesn't fall under that category. So I don't maybe they had a character limit, but to me that's a little bit too narrow to put in there. But I don't know why they chose that one. But anyway, let's look at what they say Crime Stoppers believes is the issue here. Online dating fraud. They say scammers exploit people looking for romantic partners. They do this through dating at websites, dating apps, and social media by pretending to be prospective partners. The fraudster's aim is to use emotional triggers to persuade victims to give them money, gifts, or personal details, which can be then used for identity theft. That happens a lot with seniors, with the old people. A lot of people have a lot of money. They were in the service, plus they had a job, and they're getting Social Security, and blah 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 blah. So they have a lot of couple of different big thousands of dollar checks coming in, plus savings. They own property, maybe they had investments and other things. So a lot of these older people are ballers, and so these for the men, and some women that come up, and it's usually younger women, and the next thing you know, they living in the dude's house free. They got power of attorney over him. They all in his bank account. It's just horrible. See a lot of that with adult protective services. Okay, so then they say another danger is stalking. Stalking is unwanted behavior carried out by obsessive or fixated individuals whose action disrupt the victim's life. Stalking results in alarm, distress, or fear of violence in a victim. It may also escalate to other crimes. The four main characteristics of stalking behavior are: number one, fixated; number two, obsessive; number three, unwanted; and number four, repeated. The effect of such behavior is to curtail a victim's freedom, leaving them feeling that they have to constantly be careful with their movements. In many cases, the conduct might appear innocent if it were just to be taken in isolation, but when carried out repeatedly so as to amount to a course of conduct, it may then cause significant alarm, harassment, or distress to the victim. Yeah, because you think, okay, just taking an isolation, so you go to this coffee shop every day, and then your ex just happens to conveniently be at the coffee shop every morning, like when you were. So, but then, you see him outside your job. He conveniently shows up at the bar he knows you go to with your friends. He got business, he want to be trying to be friends with people that online. So, put it all together. That's what they mean. Just one thing by itself is not alarming, but when you put them all together, it's a pattern of behavior that causes much distress to the victim. Let me see what she's Yes, I would have to say. The lack of resources, we have shoplifting is out of control. Oh, well, Lizzie, that's because it's Christmas time. That's because it's Christmas time. This time of year, everything, Thanksgiving and New Year, you watch your purses. Don't leave nothing in your car. I mean, where it's visible, nothing. I mean, not a pack of gum, nothing. And, uh, like you trying to go in your house, you got a bunch of stuff in your hands and stuff like that. Um, don't do that. Leave stuff in your trunk. Go in the house. When it's dark, a couple of y'all go out to your car, unload the stuff, and take it in. So then people are less likely to see what you got. Don't be at work talking about what you got your kids and what's under your Christmas tree. Next thing you know, you will go home and it won't be there. Keep your mouth shut. It's just too much. I don't know. Okay, do I know too many crooks? I don't know. I know people just be talking, and you want to talk about, oh yeah, we leaving town on Thursday. We going down to North Carolina to visit my family for Christmas, and we won't be back to after New Year's. And you come back, your shit's all broken into. Don't be putting stuff like that online. Don't be telling your people with coworkers. They don't need to know. The only one who needs to know that you're going to be on vacation is maybe your supervisor. And where are you going to go? Nobody needs to know that. Like how far you'll be gone or anything like that. Nobody needs to know that. Put your lights on your house on the timer so they turn on and off. Tell your neighbors. I like one of my neighbors, since I had my little incident, one of my neighbors has a key. So if anything happens and they can't reach me, they call them out, they hear a thump or something and they can't find me, they had a key to get in or let the police or the fire department in. But I trust them. They're cool. Nice young couple. So stuff like that. Just be cognizant. And make sure you explain this to your children too. So that when they get their new whatever, they don't be trying to take it to school and they don't be going to school bragging about what they got. Because again, you don't know what people's situation is at home and who they know. The next thing you know, they're gonna be some setup gonna be happening, and their crook friends will be in your house taking your stuff. So, be very careful with that kind of stuff. Just keep your mouth shut. That's the main number one thing women need to do all across the board. Just shut up. Stop talking. Yeah. Well, I mean, they robbing folks. They wait. That's what I'm saying. They wait till you get home to the house, and especially those of you who like to talk about and post the pictures up of your tree with all the stuff up under it and all your decorations and stuff. You want everybody to see. You want everybody to see what you got and what you did, and you're gonna be modeling your Christmas clothes, and you're gonna be showing your kids toys online, and none of y'all gonna have that shit. Okay, these people are desperate. They're desperate. They don't even have money for rent. So if they definitely want their little kids to have a nice Christmas, even if they have to be in a homeless shelter, they want to have some toys and stuff. And they don't have no problem with going in their house and getting yours. Going in the house and get the coats and stuff clothes you got and the Jordans you got for your kids and give them to theirs. Because their kids are miserable. They don't have anything. Right? Keep your mouths shut. Oh, that's a good point. Well, my delivery driver know better. He's like, he ain't crazy. I got the same dude all the time. Exactly, Lizzie. The Lizzie just sum things right up. That's it in a nutshell. Mhm. Yep, you got all turn. Oh, look, you guys coming with all these good ideas here. And here we go back to our topic though. Definitely need locations turned off. They can be used to stalk. Oh, see, I thank you for that, for having never even looked at one. I'm clueless as to what kind of features they have. But let's move on to our list. So then there's stalking, there's also cyber stalking, right? When people want to follow you around from place to place and post up weird stuff about you and tell people about you and all kind of stuff, post pictures and videos about you. And so they give some examples. It says misusing apps such as Facebook and WhatsApp to see when people are online, seeing their comments have been made, seeing and checking into places, venues, and events. See, because you don't want everybody to know what you're doing or where you're going. That is the downside to the new generation, the Gen Z people and the millennials, because they grew up in the internet. So to them, it's second nature. So they don't really have a clear concept of what privacy is pre-internet. You see what I mean? So to them, this is stuff is like this is the standard. For those of us who this is not the standard, we looking at all the privacy violations and the frightening just freeness with free way that these young people put all their life on the internet and then wonder why everybody's in their business and stalking them and stuff. You gotta make it too easy for people to find you and come to where you are and mess with you and stuff. You got your whole life on the internet. And those who taking selfies everywhere with the locators on and stuff, every 5 minutes, and I'm on my Instagram. I have to keep up with my Instagram. And everybody got to know where I am. I'm shopping. I'm over here. I'm over there. I'm at this restaurant here. Picture my food. You're doing too much. You're setting yourself up. And the girls especially really need to watch that. Befriending friends of the same people on social media to track conversations, etc., and your movements. And software apps are available that enable a perpetrator to view the contents of a victim's mobile phone. Smart devices such as smart TVs can also be used to track or record a person without their knowledge. So, that's why a lot of dealers and stuff, they use them old flip phones. They don't have no special features, no smartphone, nothing. It's a phone. That's it. So then they talk about, okay, then the third one was, the abuse that they said that would have to do of a physical nature. There are many different kinds of sexual abuse, they say. But, okay, signs of online abuse of this nature, putting people under pressure to send intimate photographs of themselves, grooming people through dating websites under false pretense for nefarious physical purposes. Cyber stalking is part of a pattern of stalking and harassment. This could be on the context of an intimate relationship with the perpetrator of being a former partner, or it could be someone you know, but not well, or someone you don't know at all. Taking photos of assaults with mobile phones and sharing them by email or text, or posting them on social networking or popcorn sites. It always amazes me that people do that. I mean, what kind of twisted fuck are you? Disturbing intimate, distributing intimate photographs of former partners, which were originally taken consensually in order to harass, distress, and humiliate them. And they tell you what to do if you're a victim of that kind of thing. Now, keep in mind, this article was written for people in the UK, but I tend to like a lot of the stuff that they produced in Canada and in the UK. So I use that a lot in my shows, more so than what's produced in the United States. So I missed something here. Okay, here we go. Let's see what she had to say. I once had a guy at my house. He broke into your house later on. What the hell? What he did was open one of my window latches before and actually let himself in later. I pressed all charges. So was that the same night? Girl, don't you go through your house and check all your windows and doors? I do that shit every night like a robot. That's what I do. Maybe I'm just paranoid. My daddy used to do that, so it's a habit that I picked up, and that's why I do it. Even though, I'm up on the top floor, so I ain't gonna be climbing through no windows up here, but still. Yeah, so this is the issue right here. We probably might do something. And what I don't understand, see, because to me, like all the dudes I know who are like movers and shakers and out and about and getting stuff done and making stuff happen and building, developing, creating, inventing, those dudes are not on social media. They're not on social media. If they have a web presence at all, it is a business website. And somebody else manages it, not them. But it might have their face on there or something because their name is on the door. But men who are doing stuff are not sitting their asses on a computer and trying to get at women. They're just not doing that. That's not where their time is spent. Their focus is on progress, money, advancement, movement forward. These dudes, that I've said this, been saying this for years. These dudes that be on social media and be on these Facebooks and all these kind of sites and trying to slide into women's DMs and try to want to harass women and argue with women like on my wall and stuff like that. All losers, losers, loser men. If you'd meet a dude and he got an Instagram page and he be posting all the stuff, leave him alone because he's not doing anything useful with his time. He's a little bitch. That's shit little teenagers do. I mean, if he's a teenager, well, then that's different. I'm talking about grown men because that's what we are here. We're talking about grown men and woman conversation. But I'm telling you, I mean, so many women don't think about that, and they be like, "Well, we share our social media and we do this." Your man shouldn't be on social media. If your man got time to be sitting around on social media, he should have a second job or starting a part-time business or do some dishes or do clean the carpets or do paint, do something. Do some gardening, trim the hedges, mow the lawn, do something. He should be doing something that's progressive and forward thinking and that's going to move you as a couple and it's your family forward. That is his job as a man. Sitting there on social media arguing with women on a website is a bitch move. And if that's the kind of man you got, you may as well call yourself a lesbian because that's you dating a bitch. Okay. That's what I'm telling you. Now, that's my personal opinion. You don't have to agree and you don't have to like it, but too bad. I'm going to still have it. And you will see soon enough how right I am when you start comparing that thing you wasting your time with to a real man who's making some shit happen. All the only thing your dude is doing is using up your internet hours. These clowns, I tell you. So, and these are the kind of men that women are dating. Why are they dating them? Because some of them are young and don't know no better. Okay, now let's talk some more about online dating. I went and found some comments about them. You know, some of and these are for men. These are comments that men made about the online dating websites. So this guy says, I honestly, the more time I spend on dating apps, the less worthwhile I think it is. These are, in my mind, the biggest problems as I see them. Number one, everybody is the same. He says there's very little to go on to distinguish one person from another. They talk about the very same limited group of things. They all express similar hobbies with slight variations. They all want to be unique, but are much less so than they think. They all try for the same types of pictures or just don't put in any effort. So everybody's got that kind of pose. Uh-huh. After almost 300 matches on the teeth thing, I started to get very bored very quickly with new ones. Oh, cool. You like travel? Wow. You like music and watching movies. How interesting. You have an artistic side hobby that you don't really have time for? No way. You like sweet foods? Oh my God. You also like that TV show that's insanely popular right now? Oh, impossible. You too want to have your own side business someday? You are also addicted to your phone and wish you had more time to read. Congratulations. You're just like everybody else. He's funny. He says, or the pictures aren't reliable. Ooh, honey, yes. They be putting up a picture of themselves that was taken in 1980, trying to act like they still look like that. Only a fraction of people actually look as attractive on their profile photos as they may seem, at least on the female side, since he's a guy, you know. Due not only to photographic techniques, but also to the plethora of digital editing tools now available. That's true, because I was on TikTok. Was that TikTok? I think it was TikTok. Anyway, they showed this app, right? And it was some of the most homeliest folks you've ever seen in your life. And then they changed it. It was the same picture, but then it was processed through this app and it like sucked their cheeks in. It sucked their cheeks in and it lifted their face and it just, I don't know, they just tightened up their jawline and their complexion cleared up. I mean, it would just look completely different. And I was like, wow, this is kind of messed up. So people putting these pictures up, you know, with the app thinking, and other people going to think that they really look like that. Like I said, I think it was called Persona. Persona? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but that was Persona is what it was. And I just looked at the images and I was like, wow, this is kind of fucked up. Also, when all the difference online dating, I use a lot of the same poses. Well, that's what he was just saying, that they are the same poses. Because they have those sites where they tell you what's the best pose to use. That is hilarious. Well, if you guys, I'm gonna put the number here. So if you want to, call in and make a comment at any point, This is what it this is the number you click. You click it on your phone or your if you have your headphones on a PC or tablet or laptop or something. Anyway, it's like it's an internet phone. So you just click it. You don't need to actually call in or anything. And there you go. So, and then he says the number two thing that he sees as a problem is the competition is ridiculous. If you're a guy, you have to face the fact that you're always going to be just one of hundreds rather of other guys sending a message to that girl this week, and every one of them is trying to say something interesting. So it doesn't really matter how much effort you're putting in; you're probably not going to stand out anyway. Like wow. And then the third and fourth things his third thing he says is the paradox of choice. Those two factors above make this could be a lot worse, but when you have thousands of potential swipes in your future, or hundreds more, site users to ask out, why commit to any particular individual that you've gone on a date with? You'll find somebody else who's more attractive match in a few minutes. So why commit? A part of you will always want to explore more options when you feel they're available. So he says what he's going to do is learn how to approach females in public or at coffee shops, join speed dating events, become a member of activity clubs, etc. I'm officially bored with online dating. Well, yeah, I used to recommend meetups, but that was pre-COVID, so I don't even know if meetup ever came back. Because once all the shut-in stuff happened, then those kind of things kind of disappeared for a minute. So again, if you want to make a comment live on the air on this wonderful Sunday show that we just decided to do a couple hours ago at the last minute, then feel free. Now let's talk some more about this was an article in a Canadian newspaper called the Toronto Star. It says women are quitting dating because it's a dumpster fire out there. How we got here and what can help. Dumpster fire. Why I quit dating videos citing bad behavior like ghosting and game playing are proliferating on social media, and the apps are taking note. So she starts off with saying the 50 Worst Dates author Jane whatever believes dating apps encourage bad behavior such as ghosting. Well, I can tell you for a fact that I ghosted before it was even called ghosting and before dating apps and even dating websites were invented. I was already ghosting people. So I don't know what she's talking about. Okay. And a bunch of other people I knew did the same thing. We just didn't call it that. So take a look at the Why I Quit Dating side of TikTok, where the same demographic discusses their own experiences trying to find love in 2023. The prevailing narrative is the inverse of the swoomy fairy tale where the world's famous pop star, they're talking about Taylor Swift, looks to be enjoying life with her handsome and seemingly well-adjusted walking green flag of a paramour. In fact, it's so bad out there that many women are choosing to sit out the game of dating altogether. So that all those, why I quit dating videos are out. And why is anyone else just tired of dating? He said this woman was sitting here crying in her car for 20 minutes talking about it. And in the video, she says, I'm so tired of pointless conversations, meaningless interactions with people that go nowhere, along with some insensitive cliches from the happily coupled up. It'll happen when you least expect it. The nearly 300 comments sent echo her feelings. It's emotionally exhausting. I'm a lost cause. I'm 46 and divorced. I'm definitely over it. I think I'm just on dating apps to collect traumas instead of the right person. Someone else quipped. Oh boy. The specific reasons these women give are as diverse as they are. The woman who quit the H-swipey thing because I don't like to say their names, that's why I just give the initials. You can fill in the rest on your own. Was the woman who quit because her confidence was plummeting due to the questionable caliber of men the algorithm kept matching her with. 675,000 views. Her profile had 675,000 views. The woman in her early 30s who realized she was over investing in men who'd never see her as more as a minor character in their own story, 79,000 views. The single parent tired of being disappointed by men who aren't who they pretend to be at first, that one got 80,000 views. The woman who's throwing in the towel because current dating culture, seeing more than one person at a time, which I advise people to do that. What you're supposed to do. The ubiquity of ghosting, the endless game playing is incompatible with how she wants to live her life. That video got 429,000 views. It says the stories are wild, it's a dumpster fire, and the stories are often funny in hindsight. Hmm. She tells a story about a distinguished lawyer who casually attempted to initiate a foursome on their second date. The celebrity chef who confessed his love of stealing things. See, I'd be laughing my ass off because I'm crazy. The dragged out situationship with a businessman who once drank so much he soiled himself rather in the Ritz lobby. That means he shit his pants. Maybe he just peed. Either way, that's like a big old no, 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 Anna. Forever. Wow. So her dating stories are worse than mine. That's terrible. At least I never had nobody who did that. That's ridiculous. She says it's a exhausting and fruitless endeavor. Do y'all agree? The swiping part, as well as starting and sustaining a conversation, trying to figure out who's a catfish, and assessing who is flaky. Unlike other areas of your life, when it comes to dating, effort does not equal outcome. In fact, you can be punished for your efforts. Hmm. She says, the old fashioned meeting kind of things are obsolete. When you're out places, most people are on their phones constantly, whereas before you would walk into a coffee shop and people were making eye contact and looking around. And then, conversations would kind of start up from that. That's true. That's true. Even when, because I remember a couple of years ago, I took myself out for my birthday. They were having this black jazz quartet at Scott's seafood restaurant in Walnut Creek, right? So I wanted to see these brothers and what they had, I wanted to hear what they had to say. So I went over there and I sat in the seat that was, right kind of in front of them. And then on the other side of the divider was a group of 6 young people of mixed races, but they were all, I'd say, under 24. 6 of them. Okay. Okay, what can I use to pretend like it's my phone? Oh, this box. The box with my wireless earbuds supposed to be in it. Okay. So this is their phone, right? So there's 6 people, 3 on each side of this booth. This, normally young people just chopping it up, laughing, talking, being, kind of rambunctious. I mean, they're young, they're excited about life and stuff, right? Nope. This is all of them. Nobody was saying anything. Then every once in a while, somebody would say, "Oh my God, this is funny," and then raise it up to show the other people. And then they go off, they could see the top of each other's heads. They're doing this. And I sat there looking at that like in shock. And this was years ago, like I said. This was probably at least 10 years ago. And I was like, wow. And things have gotten worse now. Now the kids even, people even it's gone into adult language where people talk with the acronyms and they write with those texting acronyms instead of using real words. And the first time, like my daughter, something happened, and instead of laughing, she said "lol." I did a double take. I was like, "What did you just say?" And she said "lol." I said, "What the fuck is that?" And she's like, "Oh, that means that means it was funny." I said, "So you are saying out loud LOL like you would text?" And she said, "Yeah, everybody does that." I'm like, "Don't do that to me again. When you talk, you do with your friends whatever you want to, but with me, you use real words, okay?" She said "lol." I will never forget that shit because I was like, "Oh my God." Let's see what some of y'all have got to say here. He was touching on the phone while he sat there and ate and drank for over an hour. Was y'all on a date? Chrissy, were you on a date? I'm not looking for anything and just let the cars before. Yep. Well, you have way more. If you had to use it one time, you would have more experience than me because I have none. Yeah, exactly. And that's what the women say that the guys, that's how they try to date you. They just text you WYD in the morning. Good morning, WYD. Then at lunchtime, what WYD. Then in the afternoon, are you off work yet? What WYD. What the hell is that? What is that? I would have to cut somebody out when they text me with some nonsense like that. Oh, you was at the bar by yourself. Oh, okay. Girl, that's okay then. Because you know he might have funky breath anyway. And you've been like, ooh, good Lord, don't talk to me. And offered him mints and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know. These people, these dudes are just weird. They're just weird. Something's wrong with them. And then they get so mad. Like if you tell them something's wrong with them, they just get so upset. Well, then with the ones who want, this is the ones that kill me, right? Okay, the dudes who get around you, and then you start telling them how it's not working for you, and then they say, "Well, none of the other women I dated had a problem with it." Oh, is that so? Well, where are they then? If they were so wonderful and perfect and everything was so lovely, where are they? How come you over here in my face? And then they get a little like they start doing it, blinking because they're like, oh shit, she got me. But it's like, if woman after woman after woman is not trying to be with you, and you can, your case is lady, man after man, okay, then what does that mean? Generally, you know what that means? That your picker is broken. Your picker is broken and you don't have any boundaries and standards. So that if you're going out and spending time talking to and stuff, for longer than one conversation with a whole bunch of people and they all in the same, the problem is you. You're either letting them pick you with no boundaries and standards for who you're going to spend your time with, or you have to admit that you're attracted to losers for whatever reason. Because I'm sure they all have something in common. And there's something that's triggering a pain in you. That's what it usually is. A psychologist could explain it to you better, but I found that, more so than happiness feelings of pain, people are more addicted to that than they are to feelings of joy and happiness. So if something can repetitively, a situation, a person, some kind of words, whatever, hurts them, they will seek that out. It's subconscious, but they will seek out that type of situation, that type of person, that type of activity that will cause them to have that pain over and over and over and over again. And they just go from person to person and person to person feeling that pain. So if that's you, and every single relationship that find yourself in, I'm not talking about a date. I'm not talking about the dude that you met and you discarded. I said relationship. Okay. You can go back and listen to the tape. I'm very clear. Relationship that you call yourself in, and the end result is the dude hurts you the same way as the others. Girlfriend, it's time to take a break and go and get you some couch time because there's something broken and you need to take some time out to fix it. Okay. That's what you have to do. When she say, "Ooh, I saw the block word and I got excited." Said I had to block 2 folks over texting and just so like, "Girl, yes. What is that?" I mean, all these dudes want to text, and then they complain. Well, I texted her, and then she's slow about texting back. You know why? Because she's not 15 anymore. What are you, a 30-year-old dude, 28-year-old dude, just texting somebody all the damn time, trying to text somebody to death and give a woman carpal tunnel to have a conversation with you? Use your damn phone. That's what grown men do. And then she want to hear your sexy voice, if you have one. If you sound like, I don't know, a frog or Mr. Limpet or something, you can just keep that to yourself. But usually women are very auditory, so we want to hear our man talking to us. We like to hear his voice. So you just want to text her, you're denying her that pleasure and not providing that kind of connection to her heart. You're doing that to yourself by trying to be lazy, texting. I don't want no text. I don't want no text. Oh, he was nuts. I don't know what these dudes. Okay, now here's another article. Here's another one. Why so many women have given up on dating. Oh, let me paste this in here too, just in case somebody is brave and wants to call in. Okay, this author says that the trend is not age exclusive. So it's not only young people. It's not, only the Gen Zs and whatever. This is across the board. She says it's unfortunate that dating has become so distasteful for women to do that many have simply given up on doing it. And not just women who find themselves returning to the practice in the later stages of their lives, but those who are nearly just beginning and looking to have families. Expending the energy required to find a partner to love and cherish, quote, till death do us part, end quote, seems to be coming at too high of a price these days. Thus, women are opting out with grand disillusionment and frustration. But why? Why has dating become such a chore today as opposed to any other time? I have my theories, which I will share below. Some may not be too popular, but it doesn't make them any less valid. This guy's on a motorcycle with his speaker bare, just blasting outside my window. Oh my God. I just want to go out there and just kick his motorcycle over. Okay, number one, the women's movement went too far. Sure, we gained some rights and freedoms through this movement, but what began as a positive push in the right direction has ended in the castration of men to our own detriment, leaving us baffled by the fact that we can't have our cake and eat it too. Okay, use the dumb bitch. First of all, Laura, her last name is Wellington. I don't know where this stupid bitch is from. The women's movement had never went too far. And if men were really men, they would welcome a woman who can stand right by his side and be like, a true partner, not somebody he has to step on in order to feel better about himself and his loserness. So in order to make himself feel strong and like a man, a woman has to be weak and submissive and to be controlled by a man. That's what you're saying here, dumb broad. Okay, I didn't even see this shit. I wouldn't have used this article. But, she's confused. First of all, what a woman doing something for herself, if a man feels so challenged by that he feels that he's been, quote, castrated because a woman is standing up to him, telling him no and doing her own thing, then he was a fucking loser to begin with. Okay. He was no kind of man. He was just a pretense one. Nobody can take your manhood from you. That's the main thing that women who think like this and these men who follow this line of thinking, they want to put the responsibility for their manhood, them feeling like a man, their achievements, their confidence, their everything on some third party, which is just, the general woman, instead of on himself. You are responsible for your manhood. You are responsible for making yourself feel confident. You are responsible for your mental state. It's all on you. Any man who sits around and tries to blame a woman for the fact that he doesn't feel like a man is a fucking loser. Nobody can take my womanhood from me. I tell you that. No matter what I look like, how much money I have in the bank, or what some man does, I'm still me. I'm still a woman, and you ain't gonna tell me no different. That's why I be fighting these trans people all the time. They ain't gonna tell me that I'm cis and shit. Fuck you. You don't tell me shit. I decide what I am, just like you did. Okay, you can't be changing your shit and been putting it up and like you're the one deciding everything in the world. That don't work like that. So I'm a woman. You trying to be ain't gonna succeed. You trying to be, but these men who agree with this stuff are crazy. So we're gonna nix that one. Women went too far. Hasn't gone far enough. Number two, it has become our obligation to do it all. No longer a choice, women have become obligated to, quote, do it all, and we are exhausted. This obligation leaves us little energy to seek out or even want for a man because when the dust finally settles, we need me time. What? That doesn't even make any sense. Women always felt obligated to do it all. What they fought against with the women's liberation movement was the right to not have to do it all in the home. And, to do what they have to do at work too. Because, quiet as it's kept, a lot of men, they used to dip out on their wives and just leave them stranded with some kids and no money. That's how the welfare situation system got put in place. It was called, women, what is it? Something for subsidy for women and children. They wouldn't have needed that if men were there doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? Right? But the government had to step in to take care of the kids if these men walked off and left. It's just funny how they be trying to change history. I mean, all of this stuff is written in, you can look on the government websites. I mean, it's all there. But, somehow these stories get twisted when it hits social media, and somehow it becomes women's fault. When the reasons why and everything else written by the Attorneys General of the United States of America is there for anyone who cares to do a little research and read it. That's why, AFDC, thanks, Diana. That's why it's Aid for Families with Dependent Children, right? That's why it's there. to make up for the men who weren't. So the women and children weren't destitute. And that don't have shit to do with women's lib. That has to do with men not doing what they're supposed to do. Okay. So then number 3, men want to be needed. Well, if you need to be needed, then guess what? You don't get with a woman and start trying to make her pay half. You did that to yourself. You did that. When a woman needed you, you weren't there for her. You said, well, women's lib. So then you don't want her to be there. You don't want to be there for her. So she learned to do it by herself. I have a whole video on the channel about that. So women have learned to do things by themselves. They learn to do it on their own. They learn to get together with a group of their girlfriends and go where they want to go and do what they want to do without you. And you did that. You set that dynamic up because you didn't want the responsibility. You just wanted to dip around and play around and hook up and not be married. And you wanted all of that kind of freedom for yourselves. But then you want to turn around and say, well, we need to be needed. No, fuck you. Nobody needs you. And you set that up yourself. You don't want to be needed. So enjoy the fruits of your labor, which is you being by yourself and no woman needing you. That's what you wanted. You know what I mean? God, the stuff that they be trying to pull, though. So if a woman who's not as sharp as me, she's not going to be catching this and calling them on it. She's going to be like, oh, well, let me figure out how to make him feel needed. I'll downplay my accomplishments and my education and how wonderful I am to make him feel needed. I'll be like, fuck your raggedy ass. Nobody needs you. Number 4, it's become too easy in one sense, making it harder in another. What's she talking about? With so many ways to meet people online, all of the romance and stickiness has been removed. In its place, too many choices, disposable people, and bad behavior brought about by virtual partitions from one another. Okay, but who do you see mostly on those things? Men. What are they looking for? A hookup. So if the women are complaining because they, of the shallowness and they want, more connection and they don't want to be ghosted and all this kind of stuff. So the women are looking for something deeper and the men are the ones doing the ghosting and, not wanting to communicate and, just disappearing and just doing a one night stand kind of thing and just moving on all the stuff. So that's why I say women are not, it's just not, I don't really see any reason why women are on these swipey things, to tell you the truth. You're not going to find what you're looking for on there. I've said this at least 100 times. It's no reason for a woman to be on the swipey thing. Dating at website either. It's just a bunch of loser dudes on there. Because I feel like if a dude really had his stuff together, he could meet a nice woman anywhere, Because I don't know, I met this dude at the grocery store. I was like, what your name is? He is cute. So, if you just have a willingness to talk to somebody and, any age, any race, whatever, you can do that. You can meet people everywhere. You don't have to meet them online. So then she comes down to this, so I'm not sure how that's a reason why women are, because women always would leave a dude if he didn't meet her standards. And, it used to be their family would pick for them. And this is the exact same thing. You just move them along there. You had a lot of choices and then your parents would select from all the choices that were available. Sometimes they would be important choices from other countries and, the states and stuff. People that they knew and recommended their sons to them for their daughter and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure what the big deal is here. The only thing is maybe the quantity, but the behavior itself is not new. That of screening and rejecting what you don't want. That's always been the case rather. And so number 5 is men are opting out too. Well, we already know that because they're not getting, they're focusing on the sexual aspect. That's why they call it the true forced loneliness movement, because they're focusing on the fact that women aren't giving them the time of day and giving them any attention and no nookie. That's what they're talking about, And then number 6, nobody understands what the rules are anymore, who we are supposed to be, in quote, and how we are supposed to be, in quote, as single women and men today continues to be redefined daily and at light speed. No one can keep up, so each is disappointing the other. This is why I say you don't worry about that. I've told you ladies this time and time again. You don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You are supposed to be taking a measure of what it is that you need to have in your life. And I told you there's a short on that video of the 3 things that a man must have in place before you should even consider even thinking about having a relationship with him. What were those 3 things? That he has to be willing to provide you with the relationship that you want. Okay, there should be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Well, he's breaking up, or he's not sure, he's not ready. Anything like that, that means the answer to that question is no, right? He has to respect you, not just you, but every single thing about you and everything that's about your friends and your family, your property, your pets, all of it. He has to show the proper amount of respect. If there's any kind of put downs, any negativity, anything that he does that hurts any of the people that are things that are important to you, breaks your stuff up, wrecks up your cars, spends up your money, does anything takes advantage, that's not respecting you, shows up late for dates, puts his hands on you, cusses you, calls you names, puts down your goals, your interests, your hobbies, your job, any of that kind of stuff. Talks about your looks, your figure, your anything at all that hurts you like that because he's doing it intentionally to, put you down and break you down. That's a marked lack of respect, and you don't deal with the dude like that. So many women get caught up like that. They just try to just brush it off. The first time a dude does some shit like that, I'm done with him. Absolutely the first time. Because, he was bold enough I feel like if you just met some man and he's bold enough to come at you like that, that's just the tip of the iceberg for what's about to come if you continue to associate with him. Because what made him think that he could fix his lips to say some shit like that to me and that was going to be okay? What mentality would a man have to do some shit like that? That's what I'm talking about. And, women just don't, you guys just don't, you don't put up the boundary at which you demand that he respects you. It's so fluid for most of you, and it's just you hurt yourself. I hate to see that. I just hate it. Yeah. So let's move on. Number 7, he's too old. Older, attractive men will generally date younger women, leaving the rest to date women of similar age. Choice picking's gone. Older women would rather spend time with girlfriends than in a company of old geezers who would require them to become nursemaids. Well, please explain to me, you dumb bitch. The more I read from this woman, the more I hate her. What in the world would make a woman want to sign on to be in a relationship to be somebody's caretaker and IHSS home health aide? Please explain that to me. What is the benefit to that? She's put saying it like it's a bad thing that a woman doesn't want to do that. If the man had taken care of himself like she did, then he would be in good shape and good health, right? But he's not. He smoked, he drank, he didn't sleep, he screwed around, had all kind of stuff going on. Just didn't take care of his body, didn't get his proper rest, didn't eat well. And the vegetables haven't touched his lip in 27 years except for French fries. Stuff like that. The only fruit he has is orange juice. So you have somebody who neglected their body and now he's 60, 70 years old and he's, one foot in the grave and one on a banana peel and talking about he want a girlfriend. No, ain't nobody trying to be with you. Nobody trying to be with you. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. But they're supposed to do that themselves. I mean, that's why when are these guys going to take responsibility for themselves? I just don't understand why they put so much responsibility on women for everything and then turn around and say, well, we women are beneath us and you need to submit to us. But wait, didn't you just say that we're responsible for your very existence and your very happiness? How does that even work in your mind? Notice the fence, they just go back and forth, back and forth. I'm not paying attention to them. I do what I want to do. They mean that because they have an aversion to that last word, Tiara. That work, that last word in your sentence, work. Mhm. And most men go out with a woman, single men stay home on apps. Well, we know what they do is they stay home and watch TV because you got to remember right now it's basketball and football season, girl. They ain't gonna be out, and you got to wait till the spring, usually the summer, and then yeah, it's not easy, but you just got to go to the right kind of events. Like, okay, do they have like anybody in your area having like a Super Bowl party? Or a bar that's a sports bar where all a bunch of singles gather. Those are the kind of places that you should be going to. You shouldn't be going to these hoity-toity things where men have to dress up. They don't tend to like that kind of stuff too much. They like casual things. Let's see what this is here. I train with a man who's at least 10 years younger. Yeah, exactly. Then I go home. That's right. She living the lifestyle of the Deb and famous. That's what I'm saying. Hospice care wife. Yeah, ain't nobody trying to do all that. She makes it sound like it's bad that a woman would choose to not be a hospice wife. She's out of her mind. All right, let's see what else she got on this stupid article. Okay, she says men are opting. Okay, number six, nobody. Okay, to understand the rules, we said that. He's too old. I did that one. And number eight, situational realities get in the way. Inflation, location, desperation, and so on. These and many other like realities play a huge role in women's desire and ability to date. Well, that's true. I'll give her this one. Because when I didn't have any money, I didn't want to date. I just felt like I should be concentrating all my energy on trying to get myself back situated. And so that's what I did. I concentrated on rebuilding my body, get my strength back. I had to kind of spend some time like relearning to walk a little bit, work on my balance and stuff. I had stuff to do and I wasn't trying to go out with nobody. I was not trying to do that. So that part is true. Okay, wait a minute. Number nine, family fitness. Every family has their own tone and quote working order, end quote. And unless she can find a man that understands and respects both, she won't open that door. Exactly. And as well, a lot of women will, but they shouldn't. That's what I was just talking about, the respect thing. They let people come in and talk crazy to the kids, and some of the women let these men put their hands on their children and then, talk crazy to them and all this kind of stuff. So you're right, that's how it should be, but that's not how it is. Number 10, time left me wanting. The glamour of fantastic careers and footloose and fancy-free living gives way to the sudden unexpected reckoning that everyone is married except them, and now it is a lot harder with a lot more heartache to boot. With more options available to have and raise children on their own, women are weighing their efforts accordingly. Well, you got to look at with the high divorce rate, and depending upon your social and economic level and your ethnicity, it could be as high as 75%. Then that would mean like you get married and you stay married for a couple of years, you get a baby or two, and then you get a divorce, so you end up being a single mother anyway. So rather than have to deal with all that drama between the, the wedding costs and bills and dealing with somebody's issues and somebody else's health and their mother-in-law and all these other things that happen, and then child visitation and child support and all. So rather than deal with all of that, a lot of women are like, I don't really want to be bothered with all that. Let me go to a sperm bank and make the magic happen. So that's what they do. And so, or they just do it the natural way and make the magic happen. And then that's what they do. And so the daddy is, like a peripheral person, like he would be. And after many divorces, he opts to be that. So it's like, when women see that reality, they're like, well, yeah, but doing it this way, I'm gonna still have that same reality without all the extra bullshit. So it becomes like a way to eliminate a whole bunch of dead weight from your life, to just eliminate that man and all his nonsense and all his family and all his drama and just had a kid like most single mothers have. That's, those with shared custody where the daddy really steps up and does what he's supposed to do are blessed, because that's not most women's reality after a relationship ends. And then the final one in her list of 11 things, a new entry into the mix, concerns over the COVID vaccine. Okay, well, that's over, so we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so she says, whether temporarily or for the long haul, giving up on dating doesn't bode well for the future of the human race. Yeah, that's the same question I have. What is this going to mean long term? As a society has in some ways made a mockery of dating, which is anything but funny. Dating is an important part of our culture, which is suffering under the stress that we have put it. And although I know plenty of women who have made the choice to stop dating entirely, women who seem completely fine with their decisions, happier than ever even, I have yet to meet one who isn't somewhere secretly hoping that her Mr. Right will suddenly walk in and bring along with him the romance of a lifetime. Well, I have to say, it is a challenge as a woman in our culture anyway. I don't know about others, to grow up hearing the fairy stories about, Prince Charming and the knight and, happily ever after and all this old stuff, you hear all these little stories growing up. It's very difficult to go from that and those dreams to the reality of what dating and relationship looks like in 2023/24. It's a big challenge. The best thing parents can do is stop reading their daughters that bullshit. Don't do it. And what really, and I've talked about this before, reading fairy stories as an adult, now that my comprehension is in vocabulary and everything, my understanding of relationship dynamics and human nature is that of a mature adult versus that of a, little kid. Reading those stories is kind of scary. The mind manipulations and stuff that they put in the seeds that they plant in women of being deficient, not good enough, here to please men, all this, all these things, it's just amazing when you really look at the messages in those stories. It's full of bullshit. Like the one, what was it called? Thumbelina. The worst story ever. Don't ever read that to your daughter. I read it and I was horrified how they tried to marry her off to that underground blind mole man. It was like an old pervert, but he was a mole in a mole character. And here's little beautiful Thumbelina, and they want to marry her off to this thing. I was like, this is horrible. So I mean, you like I said, looking at it with adult eyes, you see things differently, and you can read between the lines. So this women are not getting the benefits that they thought they would from dating, right? Is that's where we are, ladies? Would you say that that's a fair judgment? It's like I talk about how women are more educated now, more independent, look better because women take care of themselves, go to the gym, work out, be getting lipo and, little nips and tucks and whatnot, and so they really look much better far longer than men do. And so women tend to live longer as well. So a woman is going to be looking for someone who can go the distance with her, right? Whether they're married or not, somebody who's going to be there to go the distance. And the guys that are out here on these dating apps and on these dating websites aren't up to par. They aren't up to that standard. A lot of the ones who are and they're on these sites are actually married and they just trying to, cheat. If you're a single woman who wants your own family and your own husband, your own marriage, that's not gonna work. I mean, he could be a perfectly nice dude, but he's trying to creep. So, I mean, how nice is he really? But anyway, she's not gonna wanna date him. So that those types of dudes are automatically eliminated. And there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those. Even if they're not married, they still, they're committed elsewhere, living with the woman, got a couple of kids. Some of them be trying to creep and the woman's still pregnant. Just trifling. Just trifling. Let's see what she says here. It's like, mhm. Child, ain't that the truth? Yep. And it's mentally more happier too. That's what it says. Statistics report. And not focus on living to please a man. That's what men call can't handle. Exactly. Well, they're used to being the center of being the center of attention. They go from being the center of attention at their moms to they want to be the center of attention in your world too. And women are like, no, I don't want to do that. Ooh, dang, Tina for the 3-point shot. You gonna read Thumbelina, girl? Please do, and then tell me what you think. That was like I used to love that story when I was a little kid, but like I said, it because she was tiny. She was big thumb. They called her Thumbelina. She was this big, and she used to like float. Her boat was a leaf or some shit. I mean, it was very imaginative, and I just loved the story, but I didn't really understand the story until I got older. Yeah. Yeah, because the kids aren't loved, they aren't disciplined, they don't get taught anything, it's just terrible. It's awful. It's just unbelievable. Mhm. Yeah. That's why they want to do away with, abortion, because they feel like, it's women, that would give them more, more babies. But my thing is this, don't like I said, I don't think it's about that really. I think it's more because we have so many pedos in power, they can see that their resources are drying up. The people ain't having kids, then that means they won't get to have their fun because there won't be no kids around for them to, you know, mess up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What she's talking about is, what's those groups, them Sunni Muslims and people, they that them people, the Hotep crew, they like to have a situation where they have their king, and then it's 2 or 3, 4 women living in the house with him, collecting welfare, whatever they're doing, working sometimes, but he doesn't work. He's, on the corner selling incense or making candles or basically just sitting around with his bong all day, not really doing much of anything, and they take care of him. Now, to me, that sounds more like a pimp setup, but they feel like it's okay. Yeah, the white version of it is sister wives. The black version of it is, the Sunni Muslims and the hotepery. So, but it's the same shit. You dating yourself, girl. As long as you don't get married to yourself, we all right. Be like that lady in Texas who had a wedding and she married herself. She had an image of like a cardboard cutout of herself, and she had it up there, and now she was marrying herself. And she had this whole big dead wedding and everything. I'm just like, what? Okay, what is this? Talking about meeting at the bar while his wife is up. Oh my God. I would have to hurt his feelings and say, you ain't cute enough for all that. You're not cute enough. Sorry. I don't even know what to say. I I guess my next question to you all would be, so where do you think this is gonna go though? If this trend continues and women don't wanna be bothered with men anymore, and they don't wanna date them, ain't trying to have their kids, don't wanna be married to them, because marriage with them is just like ick factor, like 9 times 9,000. Let's see, what'd she say? Oops, this is the one. 40% of them are married? Oh my god. First of all, why they in your DMs in the first place? Let's just talk about that. Anything less than what you yourself can provide. Girl, can you put that on a t-shirt? Because that is it. That is the answer right there. She thinks men are going to become more violent. Well, I'm not so sure. I think most of them will just divert to screwing each other. That's already a big thing, you know. You be doing it on the DL. The ones who's married and acting like they regular with wives and girlfriends and stuff still be creeping doing all of that. So now you just do it openly. Nobody cares. Nobody's gonna miss them. So they seem to like it. So I think that is how that's gonna go. But you're right, because it won't be no kids will be being born. So the end of the human race, is that such a maybe that's such a bad not such a bad thing. Well, Hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of it. I've been researching it, and it's just scary. It's scary. I have some gay male friends, and they just be telling me just all kind of stuff about y'all's husbands and boyfriends, and how they be, not only convincing them, not only pulling them, but the husbands and boyfriends be, be like recruiting them. Like the straight men go to get the gay men's face in bars and spots and be trying to, get they swerve on and stuff on the DL. I'm like, what in the world is happening here? And even if they only do it like on business trips or whatever, be on that Brokeback Mountain tip, they out with their friends and it's a hunting trip. They hunting all right. I don't know. But just think about how many letters, hey Jen, it's like how many oops. Wait, wait, what did she say? Look at you. It's like scrolling so fast, I'm missing stuff. Yeah, that's that yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know how can that be proven though? I mean, we could sit and make up any kind of statistic. There's no way. No, don't believe that. There's no way to prove that because you can't be up in everybody's bedroom like that. So, I mean, that's a projection or estimation, but there's no way to prove that it as being false or true. But I can, if people want to say that, that's fine. It's not gonna bother me because I'm not gonna be messing with them. Yes, doing all kind of, as I call it, freak shit and accepting all kind of nonsense. I saw this. I like to watch the Korean dramas, right? And I saw one last week, I guess it was called "Me, My Husband, and My Husband's Boyfriend," and it was this exact. Except her approach was she wanted to stay married, right? Her husband straight, told her. I mean, she had pictures of him going to a motel with the little boyfriend and all this whole thing, and he wasn't sleeping with her. I mean, and that should be a sign. I think he did it with his wife once a year on their anniversary or some shit. And she, still stayed in the marriage. And so then as she found out that he had a boyfriend, she still wanted to stay in married to him. And he tried to break up with the little boyfriend, but he just couldn't do it. He admitted to his parents that he was gay, and he admitted to her. And I mean, so anyway, they ended up getting divorced. But it was after she gave this very interesting speech that she could love people, love different people in different ways, and she could understand how he could love her and admire her or something, and love the boyfriend too. I mean, she gave this whole speech and everything, right? So they go, and it was just a very interesting study of watching a woman. There was a man there who wanted her to leave her husband so he could be with her, right? Very nice dude, perfectly suitable for her. He adored her. He wanted her. The husband wanted her to go to this dude. She just won't stay with the husband for some reason. I just could not figure that out. Even after walking in and finding the husband and the boyfriend rolling around on the floor, she still wants to stay with the husband. And in the very end of the movie, the very last scene of the movie, they're all living in their apartment together. And she's sleeping in one room, the husband's in one room, the boyfriend's in a different room. But the husband and the boyfriend get up in the middle of the night and they're grinning at each other, right? And you just see the love in their eyes the way they smiled at each other. Then she comes out of the room she's in and stands in between the middle of them and is looking at the husband with them same love eyes. And then looks at the boyfriend. So I'm like, in spite of her whole speech, she didn't really do anything any different. And she still loves her husband and her love is like killing him. Her love is keeping him tied to her in a way where he can't be who he wants to be and do what he wants to do because he has to be concerned about her love for him. It was a very interesting human study, and so many women have that mentality. So they go through all these conniptions to stay and keep up a farce of a marriage and a relationship that they know is doesn't even exist except in their fantasies. The man likes dudes. Okay, let him go. Get a divorce. Respect yourself if you're not going to respect anything else. Let him go be happy. You say you want him to be happy. He's not happy with you. Let go and let him go on over there to be with who he wants to be with and who wants to be with him. So it was a very interesting movie. I'm telling you, I'm just me, my husband, and my husband's boyfriend was the name of it. I might have to watch it again. That's from the at least from that 6th, 7th episode where she gave that major speech because she was talking for so long, and they both were looking at her with her mouth hanging open like they didn't believe it. But I think that's what's happening in a lot of these relationships. The women are fully aware that their man doesn't love them. He loves someone, a man. He wants to be with men or at least a man, somebody that's not you, but they just don't want to let him go. They just having a hard time. So instead they get on these websites and say, "Oh, my husband is on the DL." No, if you know about it, that means he's not on the DL. It means you know. You see where I'm going with this? That's why anyway, this was my whole roundabout way of addressing what you said. They're not on the DL. The women know about it. And they're choosing to stay in the relationship anyway. That is my point and why I disagree with that 90% being on the DL. They're not on the DL. The women know very well what they're dealing with. They know he's bi. They know he's got a boyfriend. They know he be messing around with dudes. And they stay in the relationship anyway. So that nullifies that 90% because that is no longer qualifies as being DL. She just in a relationship with, you know, a man who likes to screw other men. And I don't know, that wouldn't really work for me. Yeah, I mean, if you have to read the subtitles and stuff, I don't mind that kind of stuff, but, so I like to watch these things, and like I said, I've been on this research path about this particular topic. That's how this came across, how I happened to find that movie. Well, it's like a series, a little series of a 6 or 8 or 10 videos, I'm not sure. Yes, exactly, it's the same principle. Even if it's not gonna be a homosexual kind of opening up, it's heterosexual, and it's the same principle. A third person is in the marriage slash relationship, and they just go along with it. I just don't wanna I don't know. I mean, I that to me, that's like that falls back to what I said about respect because and that not and giving you the relationship that you want. What woman goes into getting married and saying, "Well, I want a relationship with my husband that has a side piece, and we all live together and have a and like one big happy family." I mean, who gets into a relationship thinking that that's what they want? So to me, that would be an instant out because he's not giving me the relationship that I want anymore. It's done morphed into something else. I don't want that no more. Exactly. And I just don't get it. They think they can straighten a man out? Please. Says back in the 80s, a friend of my mother's was married to a man who was sleeping with other men. He gave her, oh, she passed away. By the time she knew she had it, she had full blown AIDS. Wow. Yeah, that's when it was really, really first hitting, and it wasn't really well publicized, yet about how it's transmitted, and they really weren't sure because I remember when it first came out, and they were talking about, well, you can only get it through eggplant contact, not through deep kissing. And I remember sitting there thinking that, I'm a kid now. I'm thinking, I don't think that's gonna be, I think that's a lie because you think about all the people who have bad dental hygiene, right? They brush their teeth, their gums be bleeding, right? They got sores and shit in their mouth, cavities, gums are loose from pyorrhea and whatnot, right? So I'm sitting there imagining all of that, and I'm thinking, okay, and you doing deep kissing with somebody. who's HIV positive, and they're saying you can't get it that way. I don't think the lie detector said that was a lie, said Deborah. And sure enough, later they changed that, and they're like, oh, well, actually, that bodily fluid that includes saliva. So yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, that don't sound right to me. That don't even sound logical. And she had 2 children. Wow. One of the couple doing for is the decision want to open things up. The other person allows it so they don't lose the financial. Wow, they can't just get a job. They can't just get a job. They're gonna expose themselves to some nonsense like that. See what I mean? Mhm. That's how it always is. So when you put all of this together, ladies, you put all this together that we've been talking about, um, oops, that we've been talking about tonight. I don't know. It just seems like the more women get free of all of those shackles of what women are supposed to do and how women are supposed to limit themselves in order to make men feel better about doing nothing. Because, okay, let me just do a live screen demo. Okay, so here's a man on my right hand, it's my right hand, who's not really doing anything stellar. He's just basic. He's just a basic dude. But he feels really good because his woman is way down here, right? She's less educated. She makes way less money. She doesn't know anything. She hasn't been around, traveled much. She hasn't done anything. Her whole world is him and her kids, if they have any in her house. That's her. All she talks about is going to church and cooking and cleaning and them kids. Okay, so she might be boring and basic, but he's happy with his little nothingness because she's less than him and he gets to feel superior. Now, take this woman who she just says, you know, I need to do better because my kids are growing. I want my kids to see where education and achievement and advancement is important. So let me model that for them. So she goes back to school, right? So she goes to school. And before she just had a GED. So now she goes to community college and she says, so dude is still right here, right? He's still here doing his little whatever he's doing. So she go to community college, she gets her little AA. So she's over here now. She's still got the same belief system about, her being better. Her husband is the head of the household and all sorts of stuff here. So now then she goes and enrolls. She got her AA. So now she goes and she gets a bachelor's degree. And with that, she gets a better job. And now she's making $40,000 a year more than her husband. Okay. So she's financially now she up here. She up here. She's now the breadwinner. Okay. So then she gets, she's good goes. So then she gets promotion on her job because she finished college and she got her bachelor's degree. And so now she's up here, right? So she's making like double as much as he is. And he's still here. He's innocent. Now, what happens here? He starts feeling bad because she's thinking that she's not a good wife anymore. She's thinking she's too good. It's women's lib. It's all this stuff. But she did hard work. She worked hard to get here. And she did that because she wanted the world to be better for her kids. She wanted to provide them with more opportunities. She wanted to be able to help them when they get out of school and help them through school. She wanted them to be able to go to do a semester and a year in Europe or something like that. I mean, whatever, exchange student. Now, those programs cost money. She wanted her kids to be able to go on the school trips to go skiing and in Montana and all these different things. She wanted them to have those opportunities. So she went back to school. She got a job. She made some money to make it happen. But instead of being happy that his family is better, most men aren't going to see it that way. They're going to see her as challenging his authority in the household, as her thinking that she's better than him, that she's the man now, that she wears the pants, that she don't have to listen to him, and he gets threatened, and usually it turns to violence. So you see in a woman, like she's looking at we're a partner, and if he wanted to do better, he could, but I'm just going to do this, and everything's, she's still cooking the meal, she's still doing everything that she was doing before, so nothing really for him has changed. It's just she has changed. and he can't stand it. He can't stand that when he looks at her, she's glowing. He can't stand that she has the respect of people that she wouldn't have been able to be in having her social circle before when she went back to school. That she's reading books and talking using words that he'd never heard of and doesn't know the meaning of. He can't stand it. And it's all about his insecurities. It's not her. So we have women like this all over. They're single. Some are single. Some are married. We just had a couple in the advice column this week where the girls she wanted to buy herself a house. Her boyfriend didn't want her to buy one. You know, they want to do things, and the men in their lives are trying to hold them back. So when you have women like that, you know, it seems like if you have something you want to do, it's more to your advantage to just stay single. It's not really worth it because you got to fight with a man about what you want to do with your time and your money. Yeah. This is kind of interesting. So that basically we have summed it up to if things continue going the way that they're going, we're going to have a society that's just basically going to start dying out. If not for the immigrants, but you know, a lot of them women are in there trying to have all them kids either. It's going to be interesting. Let's see what she said. The guys I talked to would have couldn't because they felt like they had enough. Huh? Yeah, they hadn't done enough, but then what's their excuse though? I mean, at what point do you start doing what you need to be doing to do enough in your life? You know, it has to start somewhere. She said it happened to me. Yeah, they do. They get mad. Mhm. They are using folks for income and medical benefits as well as free childcare and housekeeping, you know, it's open relationship. Yeah, well, you know, does any woman stupid enough to be in that? I mean, I don't know. I'm just still waiting for somebody to tell me what the benefit is these days for women to be married. I just can't figure one out. It's like I said, unless you're having children, you know, I mean, it is good for children to be in a home of a married couple. I give you that. I've always said that, and I will continue to say that. But in general, if you're not going to have children, what is the point? Oh, I already showed that one. All right. You know, what is going to be the point of that? And as more and more women see, you know, just having kids, people used to say, well, you know, you need to have kids so that you'll have someone to take care of you when you're old. There's having my time in adult protective services. I would not recommend that because you don't know how your kids are going to turn out, and you have no clue how they're going to treat you in those sunset years of your life. You may have sacrificed everything that you had to raise your kid and provide for them and stuff, and they turned around and slap you into a nursing home and take everything that you had and just run off with it and leaving you destitute. When you thought you had planned your retirement and you would have money to stay in a nice place, keep your home and get somebody to come in and help you out, they take all your money, sell your house out from under you. It's just awful. See that? You know, you see that just thousands of times. So it's if you thinking that you're gonna have kids and get married and have kids because you want to plan for your you know, they're gonna be there to help you after you retire and be old and all that stuff, you stupid. You dumb. That's not gonna happen. Most of these kids are too mentally weird and self-absorbed anyway. What's she say? Mhm. That's why I tell women this whole thing about how many women are movers and shakers these days, not to go running in and telling your husband or boyfriend what your girl has got or is doing. Okay? Don't do that. But so many women, like on TikTok, there's this guy, he was talking about his wife. It was a little skit, like his wife was like on the phone. You know, this white guy, he imitates his wife and she has like blue hair or something. And so he puts on this blue wig with his big old beard and everything, acting like he's her. So he's talking like, you know, he's on the phone like it's her, right? Talk to us, "Oh, yes, girl, yes, really? Okay, I'm not gonna tell I wouldn't tell a soul, this and that." So then she hangs up the phone, and he's sitting there, like, reading the paper, and then he says, "And you're about to tell me everything, right?" And she says, "Without a doubt," right? So, and then all those women are chiming in on the thing below that. They said, "That's right, because it's my husband, I tell him everything. We don't have any secrets, this and that, blah, 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 blah." And that's why I was telling you guys that who are single, don't go telling your girlfriends who got a man or who are married or your business because they can't hold water. Most of them. I mean, some of them can, but most of them can't. They don't have any business of their own. They don't have no life, no hobbies, no interest, no nothing to talk about that concerns themselves. So they look around at their friends' lives to talk, have a conversation to have with that man. They're gonna be spilling all your beans and telling all your business. And if he's some kind of scallywag and you got a lot of stuff, he gonna tell his friends. So then he gonna try to set next time you come over, he gonna conveniently have his friend there so he can introduce you. So the friend can try to get all that stuff that his wife has been telling him about that you have. Don't you see how the setup goes? It's not gonna look like a setup, but I'm telling you that's the game. That's the game to get your stuff. Yeah, that's what I've been. Thank you, ex love. That's what I've been trying to tell people. Hey, you know, thinking you having kids, they gonna save you and protect you and stuff. Please. Yeah, well, I mean, you can stay open to it. I'm not saying don't, but what I advise women to do is if you want something like that, please understand why you want it. Okay? Why do you want that? Do you want it because everybody told you that that's what you should want? Oops, I'm sorry. I already showed that one. Mhm. But they don't grow up because their mothers don't make them grow up. They won't take care of them too much. I just talked about that in the show the other day, especially if it's her only son. If he's her only son or only child, it's a wrap. She just he's not gonna be worth 2 cents on credit. Assisted unaliving. Oh, like that movie, what was that movie? A shoot, the one with Charlton Heston in it. I'm seeing it in my mind. It, shit, I can't remember. Something good. Soylent Green. It's called Soylent Green. If you've never seen that movie, it's about that. A society where there's overpopulation and really no food. And they had this building when you was ready to just check out and you were tired, you go there and they show you videos of how Earth used to be with flowers and breezes and snow-capped mountains and up just beautiful. What we see now, but that pollution's at risk of. They showed them videos where the person laid there and they gave them the little pills or whatever, and then by the time the movie was over, you were checked out, and then they put your body in this chute, and that was it. Yes, Soylent Green, honey. That was the bomb ass movie. I must have watched that movie 800 times. I used to love Charlton Heston. I don't know why. I just thought he was just the most handsome thing ever. Something about him. But yes, if you get a chance, watch Soylent Green. It should probably be on some sci-fi channel or something. Yeah, maybe on YouTube or who knows, but you definitely have to watch it. But yeah, like that in Sliver, the people that worked in that center, they all wore white clothes like they were angels and talked in that low, special, soothing voice. And just calm people down, and they did the little solution, and then they watched the movie, and then that was it. It was over. It was real interesting. But you said I shouldn't have told you that because that's what you find out at the end of the movie. But anyway, I just told you the plot, so but you still should see it anyway. Yeah, I love that movie. And the way they showed, like, somebody had some beef. They had, like, a little piece of beef like this, and it was, like, this prized possession that cost, like, millions or something. It was just the craziest shit ever. Your mother said that she had you so you could serve her. What? I'll serve you on a hot platter with a knife and fork. That's what Imma serve you. chick. Yeah, please see that movie so we could talk about it. Cause I'm telling you, that shit was wild. I like crazy movies like that though with a concept. And then, but I'm not gonna tell you the whole end. That's just the one part of it that pertained to this. But there's a surprise at the very, very end. My daughter stayed with me for a long time till I kicked her ass out. I'm like, "Get the fuck out. No, you can't be here no more. I don't want you here." And she got mad. She just feel like she should be able to do what she want to do in my house. And I was like, "Nope, don't work like that, chick. Sorry." So she got the boot. Have I seen Midsommar? I don't think so. But I'll tell you what, um, I've seen a lot of movies that since I had that issue last year after that shot, um, my memory is not so like when I'm seeing it, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I saw this before." But you just asked me to recall the name of it. I don't do that. I can't. See how I struggle to remember the name of Soylent Green? Stuff like that happens. And as many times as I've seen that movie and as much as I love it, I still struggle to find the title in my little damaged brain here. You shall be watching Soylent Green. Oh, girl, yes. Then we have to talk about it because I'm gonna be home on Christmas. I'm not going to my relative's house. I decided that I have to wait. I need a break. Thanksgiving was that was enough. I need a break from all of that activity and all them kids. So I'm gonna stay at my house by myself. I might go out if there's a bar open, I might hit it. At some place I can go get me a meal at a restaurant, and then I will be back and I will crank up my laptop and see if y'all online and just stay online and just check in with people as they want to. Yeah, it's coming back, Diana, but it's just really been a struggle. Sometimes I just sit there and like, damn, I know I should know this. Why don't I know this? Oh, you girl, happy birthday. That's how you supposed to do it. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I'm gonna see what restaurant is open on Christmas. And I'm gonna take myself out. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna be home. Santa's not coming because if Santa came to my house, it would just be a bundle of sticks. It's like you've been awful this whole year. You ain't getting shit. That's what Santa would say to me. Empty coal in my stockings and stuff. I'm a pass. I'll be hiding out at somebody's bar. That's what I'm gonna do. So I guess we're through with this conversation because everybody's on that same page that it's just gonna be a problem. What can we do about it? I mean, the way things are going, I don't think anything because it's just like if a dysfunctional relationship. One party doesn't have the power to change it. It has to be both. Both have to work together. And if you have, parties who prefer to be trans or, gay or DL or whatever, just get hookups and not really commit and, all these different things that's going on with men these days that, put up a big wall where a woman can't have a relationship with him even if she wanted to, then it makes it just pretty much impossible for us to turn things around. And I want to say that I want to put this on record because I don't want you ladies going away from this conversation thinking that the responsibility to make any change here or do any kind of adjusting to make men, want to be in a relationship with you is your responsibility. It's not, it's theirs. They have to be ready, have to be mentally and emotionally, mature enough to handle it. And they have to be of the mindset that they know that you and a relationship with you is what they want. If any one of those components is missing, it's not going to work anyway, no matter what you do. No matter how freaky you are, how beautiful you are, how much lipo you get, how much you go to the gym, what it doesn't matter. How much you dye your hair, nothing you do, your cooking, the cleaning, nothing is going to make a difference. He either wants you or he doesn't. And like I said, the fact, even if he does want you, it's up to you to vet him and make sure that you're getting those three things that I talked about. It's my latest short. So go find it and listen to those three things that every relationship must have in place before you even think about having a committed relationship with a man. And they're real basic. You'll be shocked. That's how easy it is. You don't need to determine if he's, this and that, if this is love bombing, if this is all this other old stuff here. You don't worry about any of that. You worry about those 3 things that I said in that video, and that's all you need to think about. And then, like, it's my latest short. So once you go into the section that says shorts on this channel, it should be up at the top of the list. And just take a look at that, make notes, and follow that rule going into 2024. Before we get out of here, because I went and I approved 11 registrations this morning. I was like, oops, I just forgot all about everybody. This is coming up. Oops, let me get back over here and hide her comment because it's blocking the image. This is coming up on the 29th of this month, our webinar for young ladies about getting the strength to say no. How do you say no to people? I'm like, well, how can you not? But it's very important. It's a very important skill that I want you guys to go into 2024, being confident that you have. We're going to play in this thing. I'm going to talk for a while, and then we're going to do some role playing where you're going to provide me with some situations that you were in, and I'm going to be you. Okay. I'm going to be the you that you should have been. So you can get an idea of how to handle those kinds of things in the future. So it should be very interesting to come with your example. And you got to sign up, though. And I want to remind everybody, don't look for this content thinking, well, I'm going to just watch it later. No, you're not, because it's not going to be on the site. You either have to sign up for this to get this information, or you're just going to be asked out. That's just the way it is. Okay. Because it's not going to be anywhere but for the people that are participants in the webinar. So, and it's only $19. Should you spend that much on Starbucks a day? You can come. Don't cheat yourself. Make it happen. Let's see this last comment here. Gwen says, I left my last room. He was chronically unemployed. Oh, no, he didn't. Girl, you need to slap yourself real quick and sign up for this. Just say no. Because once you with a man who was chronically unemployed and was like doing what he was doing, all that smoking stuff, that makes him not want to get off the ass and do nothing. So, Gwynnie, this is something you should have said no to, like right off the bat, as soon as he came out the gate with this nonsense. You stayed in this situation where you should have never stayed. Please sign up for that seminar, the webinar rather. We need to work on you a little bit. Okay. We need to work on you a tiny bit, get you ready. Well, who asked you, stupid ass? I'm coming in here talking about what you think, punk ass, bitch ass motherfucker. Now, I hope you understand how I feel about you. Now. I don't like that stuff. You're going to come into a women's channel and start talking some shit and think you're not going to get roasted. We don't do that here. And my tongue is sharp and quick. And so there you go. Hope you enjoyed your Christmas present from the Depsterism channel. Anyway, I'm going to be out of here, y'all. We have stuff to do. I got to start fine-tuning my presentation for the webinar. I've been playing around. I need to get busy. And I will see y'all on Wednesday. Okay, so be here at 6:00, and I'll see you then. This was a good conversation. I liked what you guys had to say. See ya Wednesday.